Good evening and welcome to tonight's live stream, everyone. My name is Stephen Johns, and I am a student recruitment transition officer with the Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering at the University of Toronto. And tonight, we are featuring the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and I am joined on my left, your right, by the two stars of this evening's show. Directly to my left, we have Simo Pajovic, and to his left, we have Professor Jean Zhu. They are going to be here tonight to talk to you about mechanical engineering, about the program itself, about some of its features, some of the things that make it unique to the university, that make mechanical engineering at the University of Toronto unique. Just a house cleaning note before we begin. This live stream is not going to be dealing with admissions related questions. If you're looking at the stream, just to the right, you'll see a box with chat feature. If you have any questions related to admissions, please type them into the box, and my colleague, who's off camera, will be happy to answer them for you. She'll also be providing you with our general email address, so that if you have any questions for later on, so you leave the live stream and remember that one thing you really wanted to know, you can send them to us and we'll answer them as quickly as we can. Now, the University of Toronto is a world-renowned engineering program which is known for leading-edge research and discovery. And regardless of the program you choose, you are going to have access to U of T's top-ranked facilities and professors, as well as to a curriculum that is constantly evolving. We offer the most interdisciplinary education in Canada, and you can tailor your degree through various academic options, minors, and certificates that add breadth and depth to what you're studying. So that's what we're going to highlight tonight. But the first question I just want to ask the panel is how would you define mechanical engineering to a student who may not be completely clear as to what it is?
So I have to say that mechanical engineering is actually a very diverse subject. It's in general dealing with how things work and how to build, design, and manufacture devices, from small devices to large tools, cars, airplanes, etc.
And to add to that, if you look around you, everything you see around you probably had a mechanical engineer's influence in its design. Like pretty much anything from just a table to like something as complicated as a laptop has some sort of mechanical engineering flavor to it. So yeah, everything.
And my dad's a mechanical engineer, and this is what I grew up hearing almost every day of my childhood. Anything you see can be attributed in some way, shape, or form to mechanical engineering.
Sure.
So what are some of the unique opportunities available to mechanical engineering students here at U of T?
We have a lot of, we offer a variety of programs, both curricular and extracurricular. In our curricular program, we have a lot of hands-on courses and experience. We also offered a lot of design-related courses, team projects, etc. Extracurricular, our department has a top-notch machine shop that's open 7 days a week for all students to use to be doing hands-on work. We also have a lot of student club activities. Maybe I should let Simo comment on that.
So I mean, there's a lot of clubs that are very sort of strong, closely tied to mechanical engineering. Like the Baja team, it's a club where you like sort of build a off-road vehicle that goes on sand dunes and things like that. There's the SA racing team, solar car, lots of sort of design teams that you can participate in and use the things you learn in class to design actual really cool vehicles and solve real-world problems. And beyond that, we have a student government, the Engineering Society, something I've been involved in a lot. There's lots of different ways you can get into that. You can represent your fellow students on our board of directors. There's lots of project directors who take on these very small, specific side projects in the Engineering Society. And beyond that, there's lots of sort of cultural, like engineering culture things that we do. Like we have the way you get to have a memorial band, and our mascot, Ye Olde Mighty School Cannon. So things of that nature. There's lots of great ways to get involved. Even if you're not interested in doing design, there's so many other things you can do, like from art to music, whatever you like.
One of the questions a lot of students are having around this time of the application process is, well, if I come to U of T, how much time am I going to have for extracurriculars, for getting involved in campus life? How were you able to strike that balance, and how are you able to strike that balance?
I mean, well, one thing I want to say right away is that the thing with engineering is that you have a lot to learn in 4 years. That's what it is, right? It's such a dense program. Any engineering program, you have so much technical knowledge you have to cover by the time you graduate, because it's a professional degree, right? As soon as you're done, you have to be ready to go out into the workforce. But it's for sure manageable. I mean, the people who designed this program are aware that you're human and that you want to have a life outside of school and you want to be able to do things. So it's for sure manageable. And personally, it just comes, like, in my experience, it just comes down to finding your rhythm, finding, what type of studying works best for you, scheduling your day and things like that. And it's hard at first because, you find sometimes that you have way much more time at your liberty than you did in high school, where things were really neatly structured. But once you structure that for yourself and you figure out your own way, it just becomes like the motions, and you can do all kinds of things that you want.
Professor Zhu, you mentioned earlier on the hands-on components of the program, and I just want to delve into the curriculum itself a little bit. Mechanical students begin their design course called Engineering Strategies and Practices right off the bat in year one. In their upper years, what are some of the projects that students are working on?
Okay, in our second and third years, we actually introduced not too long ago, a few years ago, the design spine set of courses, which represent 4 courses for each term, and each course is focused on the design-oriented content, which means we require all these design spine courses to have design projects with teams involved. So students need to do hands-on design and present their work and work as a team while learning the course content. And in our senior year, final year, which is the 4th year, we also have a year-round we call capstone design course. That in the course, it's a mandatory course for all students in mechanical engineering. In the course, students are involved in real world problems that are generated from industry clients, and you work with industry clients on a problem presented to you by the industry. So it's a real practical experience that will synthesize the knowledge you learn in the first 3-4 years in the final design course.
I can even share some of the projects that I worked on in these courses, just to give you a flavor for the types of things that you actually do design. So in the second year course, I believe it's MI 243. That's the first mechanical design course that you take that focuses very strongly on mechanical design. And my team had designed a 3D printer, and it was really challenging, but it was very rewarding in the end. And in that particular course, the professor who runs that course will allow you to prototype your 3D printer if you're interested over the summer. Just now, actually, I'm taking design for the environment, which is MI 315, and my project is to do a life cycle design comparison of radiative floor heating and natural gas furnaces. So really, you really get to see some very day-to-day applications and designing things that are really, really interesting and that have some actual purpose.
Shifting focus just a little bit, one of the things that we're really proud about is how flexible our programs are and how that flexibility is an inherent feature. I think a lot of students who are coming to U of T engineering are interested in a whole wide range of things. Might be worried that they can only really take, the maths and the sciences during their 4 years. Can you speak to the flexibility of the program at all?
Yeah, it's so in your 4 years, you'll see once you get into it that you have to take 4 complementary studies electives, 2 of which have to be humanities and social sciences. So it's built into your curriculum that you can take courses outside of math and science. And even if you're interested, you can do sort of arts and science minors. I have a friend who is doing minor in philosophy and things like that. So you really can do things outside of just the math and science. And it's really nice to give you a break from all of the hardcore sort of equations and things like that you have to study. As for example, I took Intro to History and Philosophy of Science, which I guess is kind of a bad example because that goes back to science. But
science, yeah.
it was a very refreshing break from these very technical things to focus on something that's a bit sort of lighter and more stimulating and intellectually stimulating in a different way than math and science are. So yeah, I mean, you can fit those things in, and like I said, there's lots of clubs, like not just within engineering, but in U of T in general, that you can join to exercise that part of your brain too.
I should also mention that in our design-oriented courses from year 1 all the way to year 4, each design project in those courses also provides an opportunity for you to practice communication skill, team collaboration skill, leadership skill, etc. So we do even within our technically focused courses, you have a chance to learn some other aspects beyond technical aspects.
Yeah, and I would add to that even in the technical courses, and especially in the design courses, you'll find that creativity manifests itself in really unusual ways. You'll see that there's a lot of projects and even just like general sort of technical things, like things you study in math or in science classes, that actually do require a lot of creativity to understand or to figure out, right? So.
Okay, so according to every major international ranking, U of T is Canada's #1 ranked engineering program. But it's also been recognized as the top school in North America for startup companies. Are either of you able to speak to how mechanical engineering students have benefited from, for example, opportunities to get involved with research or to turn their own project ideas into a business?
Mm-hmm. So maybe Simo, you have direct experience yourself in research, right? So why don't you?
Yeah. So for research, so MIE has a really great research program for undergrads. We have these NSERC USERA awards, undergraduate student research awards, that are given out every year. I'm not sure how many. It's something like
about 20.
About 20, yeah. And so 20 students will receive these awards, and we also have sort of the MIE Summer Research Award, which is from the department. So whereas NSERC is awarded by the government, the Summer Research Award is awarded from within the department.
That's also about 20 spots.
Yeah, and that's also about 20 spots. So it's basically a stipend. You get paid for your research, and you get to work with the professor on some really fascinating topics. There's such a wide range of research, and I can say that as somebody who is going into their 3rd year of summer research, that it's really fantastic, especially if you like that sort of thing, if you like science, you like doing experiments, to be able to work every day on a problem and to sort of gradually work towards it. And when you finally get a resolution, it's very satisfying. It's something that definitely I would recommend everybody try, at some point, because research is a very particular thing. Once you try, you'll know if you like it or not, but it's something for sure you should give a shot. And as I said, the type of research that goes on in mechanical engineering is so broad. There's so many different topics that you can cover. So for instance, my research was in nanomechanics, but in the very same department, there's people doing biomedical related research, right? Which, in some ways couldn't be farther apart. But the research program is very strong, especially for undergrads. I think it'll be difficult to find such a strong program in other schools.
Apart from the research opportunities provided for our students, we also have the entrepreneurship based activities provided to our students. For example, one of our 3rd year students in your class, Simo, who invented a special school for bicycles that has been patented, and he has formed a startup company while he is a student in the 3rd year. So that's a very famous. It's called Telex. Telex. The product is called Telex. It's a really a great example of how students can pursue such entrepreneur-based activities with the support from the programs we provided, such as we have a hatchery program at our faculty that actually really supports students engaging in innovation and entrepreneur activities by providing the business aspect and how to get venture capital, etc.
Okay. So this next question is kind of in 2 parts, but really it's about PEY. So as you know, and as many of you watching will know, students have the option between their 2nd and 3rd year or their 3rd and 4th year to do a 12 to 16 month work term. Paid work experience. $50,000 is the average annual salary. Someone last year made $104,000 during PEY, believe it or not. Where do mechanical engineering students typically go for PEY placements? And then once you've answered that, maybe you can speak to the differences between PEY and a more traditionally structured co-op.
So our PEY program has been there for many years, 30, 40 years actually. So we have a long history of placing students in such internship opportunities. And different from the traditional co-op that students rotate every year with internship for 4 months, ours is one longer internship opportunity with 12 to 16 months, so that students can really do the real work with the good length of time, rather than getting there for warm up and then you have to leave very quickly. So companies can really provide actual engineering work for students to do. So I feel that this is the strength of our program.
Anything to add, or?
No, I think Professor Zhu
Yeah, that was
covered it quite
good.
nicely.
And just to say something really quickly, if anyone's watching is wondering if they need to apply for this ahead of time, you do not. This is something that this is an optional component to your degree.
Yeah.
But it's not something you actually need to apply for ahead of time. It's something you decide to do during the course of your degree program. And PEY is fully supported by our Engineering Career Center.
I should say that most students go to attend PY at the end of the second year, at the end of the third year, so that you have already accumulated enough knowledge in the first 3 years study in engineering that you can actually do the work.
I would also want to add to that, just because a lot of students do go on PEY, please don't be led to think that any people who don't do PEY are weaker candidates for jobs coming out of graduation or things like that. It's really optional, and even if you decide to go straight into fourth year and graduate, you'll still be just as strong a candidate out in the job market as anybody who's done PEY before.
And just a quick note, if any international students are watching, you are eligible for PEY and you are eligible to do your internship in Canada. Please email us if you have any questions about that.
I want to mention that about 70% of our students go to PEY. Quite some end up working there after they graduate.
So it's not mandatory, but I
It's
think
not.
all three of us up here would really encourage you to consider it very
Yeah.
strongly, because it is a fantastic opportunity.
You see, for some students who want to go into research as their career, they may not necessarily want to go to PEY, which provides a practical experience.
Right. Where do most of your students, I should say, end up afterwards? Do most of them go to industry, or is it industry and research?
I would say most students go to industry after they graduate, but also there are some students who go into research by going to grad school, go to the top Ivy League schools, etc. for grad school. For those who go to industry, we have a lot of students work as a project engineer or design engineer, planning manager, even consultant in large companies such as Deloitte, Price Waterhouse, etc. And also we have some students working in the banking industry. So we have a very big variety of job opportunities for students.
I'm gonna put you on the spot, Sima. What are you thinking of doing?
What am I
Yeah.
thinking of doing?
Yeah.
I'd like to. My long-term career path is to become a professor. So I'm on the research boat. So that's why I mentioned the whole PEY thing. That it's not mandatory, and that you can still be a very strong candidate. It's about I think, to add some personal experience. I think for me one of the biggest challenges has not necessarily been the courses or things. Creating my own career path and discovering myself along the way. Figuring what I want to do. And as I mentioned, so for me, it's not going to be terribly useful, right? But I still consider it strongly a great experience, even just meet people, practice interviewing. You want to do PI, apply for practice, and hey, there are a few research jobs posted on our portal every now and then. So try it and get